There is nothing that will replace experience. Stay tuned for more, everybody. We've got somebody here with 50 plus years of experience. We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. We get to highlight leaders in our community who are making a difference, and the fun part is I get to talk to them here live on my Cardinal Cowboy studio, the Your Little Castle set that we built ourselves because we got tired of paying a lot of money to rent a studio. So welcome to the studio with us here, everybody. Richard Sturguess, 50 years, complete home remodel. You've been doing this remodeling thing for a little while now.
A couple of years, yeah. Started young and worked for some companies, and got tired of working for companies and started my own business in 1998.
1998, had your own business then. Well, we'll give a quick shout out to Carroll House Furniture because you like nice things in your little castle. You can see our setup here. We've got some of our cameras in the shot today. But if it wasn't for Carroll House, this whole thing might not happen, but they help support what we do here because you like nice things in your little castle. And there is the potential that that little castle may have been remodeled, updated, improved by Richard and his team, complete home remodel. So with that, we're going to put up, you've got a nice looking website up on the interwebs here. We're going to show off a lot of your work, and you can see what's going on. Back to that white. See, look at the wall over there. Wow, that's some great looking. Granite, I guess, has become the thing too a lot of times.
Granite is pretty much norm now.
That's the norm.
Mm-hmm.
The norm is granite, everybody. Well, tell me, what led you here? I mean, did you just wake up one day and you wanted to do this, or did you help Dad, or how did you get involved in this to start?
You know, like everybody, always trying to grow up and figure out what you want to be when you get to that point. But no, it's like everybody else. Started out working for other people and worked 18 years for the city of Clayton. Just had enough of it one day and left, and couldn't figure out where I was going to go work. Started building a few decks, couple kitchens, couple bathrooms, and you know, it was just going to be temporary until I found another job. Well, that was 28 years ago.
That was 28 years ago.
Yeah.
So you enjoy working for yourself. You know your boss pretty well. He treats you right, doesn't he? We had an event yesterday. My mom got inducted into the Missouri Thespian Hall of Fame, and some of the family members were talking about how they talked to their boss and they let them go to the event because it was important. I said, I talked to my boss, made an easy decision for me. Be there for Mom, right? You get to make those decisions yourself too and go to do the important things.
I hate working for my boss. He's a pain. He doesn't ever let me off work.
Right.
Got to answer the phone 24/7, 7 days a week. You know, yeah. He's hard on me.
Yeah, well, my dad kind of enlightened me to some of that perspective. He said, Carter, now when you start your own business, you realize there's the potential you might be, you're going to be working for people all the time now. Now everybody becomes your boss and tells you when you got to do, and you might have to answer 24 hours a day. But that's okay if you get to control it, right?
Control, manage, I guess, is the better word for it. I mean,
right.
they're all projects. It doesn't matter how big or small the project is. It just needs to be managed. You got to have the right people, the right material, the right time to make it happen.
Yeah, well, and bring in the expertise you had. Do you think you learned a lot from your previous work in Clayton that developed and gave you the skills that you could run off and start your own company because you learned a lot there? Is that fair to say?
Well, I don't think in this business you ever quit learning. I mean, just everything keeps changing. I mean, look at the computers that you work with in the last 25, 30 years, our phones, everything, you know, it's the same with remodeling, same with all the stuff we want in our houses. We don't put phone lines in houses no more.
Right. So you're building homes and they say, run a phone line, you're like, what? They don't
it's a little back there, you know, so we remodel, we don't build new. Our expertise is in going into, well, we're working on one 1908 right now.
Oh, wow.
In U City. It backs right up to Blueberry Hill there in University City, in that little gated area.
Yeah.
And the house is 1908, and it's we're seeing some stuff that I haven't seen, you know, in my lifetime, you know, of construction and electric and gas lights and all the gas lines that are buried in the walls. So.
Yeah, they used to light the house with gas lines inside the house. Knob and tube. Do you see some knob,
Knob,
and tube?
it's all knob and tube
I've learned a little bit.
and gas. Yeah, the center lights in every room was gas back in the day.
Wow. So that's a house that was built in the 1800s.
And the knob and tube was right there next to that gas. So yeah, it was a very safe way of doing things.
Those are electrical lines. We're talking about knob and tube is electrical.
It's where they separated the neutrals from the hot wires and ran them through the house. So you'd have neutrals over here and hots over here, and they'd only join where they met the fixture.
Yeah. Wow.
It's actually one of the safest ways to do wiring.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because now you got the two wires running around all around everywhere, but running them next to the gas lines made you a little nervous.
Yeah, that's gas lights in houses probably was never the safest thing to do.
My parents have a house in Fayette, Missouri. It was a big Victorian house that they built, and they said gas lights inside the house. That's how you lit the house at night, because electricity at the time back then.
Yeah,
was
that came, I guess, right after the kerosene lamps and everything else, which would smell your house up quite badly, with gas burning clean.
Yeah. Well, with this many years of experience, I mean, this has become your passion. This is something you really enjoy.
It is the design aspect, the customers that I enjoy. I mean, you can only do a job so many times, before you did that job enough times. It's once you've built over 300 kitchens, some of the niceness is kind of worn off the edges there, but dealing with the customers, seeing their face when you get done, seeing their face before we get started and during, I mean, it's all a process, but I do enjoy working with the customers.
Yeah, so ultimately, it's the people that you work for that make you happy, that
Yes.
you enjoy what you're doing. And St. Louis is a great area to do that. With regard to these, what in St. Louis has got such a vast variation with regard to, we've been, city's 200 years old in some parts. Tell me, what are some of the variations you see? You see the old Victorian homes? Do you see any log cabins? Do you see a lot of apartments, a lot of big buildings? What do you see most often that you're working on?
So most often it's a private residence. 95% of the time it's a private residence, and we have did a log cabin, which we didn't know was a log cabin. It was in Red Bud, Illinois. Friend of mine's brother, uncle, something had bought this property, and the kitchen floor was a trampoline. Didn't understand why. It was a nice big 2-story, 3,000 square foot house, and we went into the kitchen and. I said, well, something's broke. Crawl space underneath. We took the kitchen out, took the floor up, and lo and behold, it was all logs. And I had to go out and buy a chainsaw that day so I could reshape underneath that house and put the new lumber and rebuild that floor. And it was from 1868.
Okay.
Now that's the oldest one we've worked on so far.
Yeah, that's right around Civil War times.
Yeah, that was just right after.
Right.
Yeah, 65.
64, 65. Yeah, I mean, that's where you get into houses that are old. Then you've got the house that we're talking about that we have in Fayette. They have brick interior walls with plaster, lath and plaster. How often do you see houses like that still here in St. Louis?
Every one that we've worked on this year has been lath and plaster still. We've worked up in South City, up there by Lindbergh High School, lath and plaster house. The 3 we just finished in the city, in St. Louis Hills, lath and plaster, and the one we're working on right now in University City, lath and plaster.
And do you try to keep the old authentic lath and plaster, or do you replace it with?
No, anytime we can, we will generally try to do a subwall. 2x4s if we got the room, especially if we're doing a kitchen, so we can bring up nice, new, safe electric and plumbing and update that. I do have the fortune of working with Clayton Plastering and tuck pointing. That's Jesse Mohan, and me and him share a shop together, and he is fifth generation plasterer, and he's hand by hand right in there with me on this house in 1908. He just replastered the entire foyer. It looks beautiful, brand new.
Okay,
it's a lost art.
So there is still quite a bit of the old Victorian, old style lath and plaster, and that stuff's very. I've just seen some of the walls. We have next to the property we have in Fayette. There's some apartments now that were built 60 years ago, still using lath and plaster. And I had to mount a television because you got to have a TV these days. So we got the 65-inch television, and the rooms up here like the TV's too big, but it worked out. But to get that thing put up, I had to find a couple bolts to lock into the lath. and the plaster of the wood. There's like it's like a rib wood thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's generations of lath and plaster. So early lath and plaster was just the wood that the plaster was shoved between the slats to help hold it in there, and then they started using like a lath screen mesh on it that they pushed the plaster into, and they used both of them there for a while, and then they just went to the screen lath. So there's just generations. When you walk into a house, the construction tells you when it was built.
You can look at a house and tell the way they've constructed. You can see where that thing has been.
Just, I mean, the first drywall was slats. It was only about 16 inches tall and 6 feet long, and that's how they drywalled houses. And they generally used a drywall axe. That's how they cut it. They'd describe it and chop it with a little drywall axe.
A drywall axe. So somebody who's been around has done quite a bit of this. In St. Louis, like you said, now how often are you remodeling houses that are built in the 80s and the 90s, and their bathrooms or kitchens are now 20, 30 years old?
So those we do every day. I mean, a lot of them in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Mine was built in the 80s. Yeah, I've remodeled my whole house. So it just changes. If you were to ask me if the houses built today are better than the houses built in the 20s and 30s or better, I would say most of your new houses today won't see that 100, 150 year mark, without being totally rebuilt. But, they're just not built as well or as strong as they used to be.
Yeah, this is like the house we talked about in Fayette. It's got brick interior walls. This house is going to be around for a while. Mm-hmm. And so, but the modern house is 2x4s. Put some.
Yeah, there's not too many walls in a new house. You just can't back up in the living room, run right through that wall and right out in the front yard.
You just don't hit the studs.
Yeah, if you miss the studs, you're clear sailing. You can go right through that styrofoam and vinyl siding and drywall.
Yeah, that's even.
And you're right there.
Yeah. Well, it is a little easier to work with, a little easier to put outlets and run electrical.
It is far easier to work with in the older homes, but anybody can do a new house.
Well,
not too many people can do these old houses.
Well, that's right. We got to find the experts. That's why we wanted to bring somebody on and knows about it. Richard Sturguess, everybody here, and been doing this for 50 years. Complete. We put that up. Home Remodel LLC, making your house work for you. And so, how often people are updating their houses because they need that new electrical setup, or they need the new HVAC, or what are the most recent things you're updating houses with?
Well, right now, the project we're on is for an 85-year-old couple that bought this house in University City. Beautiful homes worth $1 million. They bought it, I think, for $20,000-$30,000 back in the day. In 1971, they bought the house, and it has the big, giant sliding pocket doors that some of these old mansions have. And they bought the house in 1971, and the doors did not work, and they haven't worked for all these years. And so I went in to look at some other work. They said something about the doors, and I said, well, I can fix those for you. And they said, you can do that? I said, I can do that. They said, we would love to do that. So, we rejacked up 3 floors of header, put new headers in, bought the doors. Doors are all now working. Wow. And so they're quite thrilled about that. First time they got to see those doors, and they've lived there for 60 years almost, 55 years.
Wow, yeah, those pocket doors are really cool because they do slide.
They're just beautiful.
10-foot doors that are huge. They must weigh 200 pounds each.
Easy. Just beautiful doors.
You had to put some new headers in. That makes sense because that's something they can wear out.
The original hardware is still all there and in perfect working order.
Really? Just had to be realigned, I guess, essentially. Well, there you go. Well, we do a little quick research on every one of our guests to talk about them. So we just go to Google and do a quick scan. And AI will now give us some feedback about but reviews for complete home remodel, often referred to, very positive, highlighted responsiveness, quality work, fair pricing, strong communication, especially from owner Rich Sturguess. They spelled it without the U in there, but that's the.
I'll answer to both.
You'll answer to both.
It's pronounced the
same.
same.
Hey, Google, the AI there picked you up and figured out who you were and said, hey, this guy's high quality, fair pricing, trusted referrals, somebody you can trust to do a good job. So the AI is working for you in this favor. But we've got some fun stuff we got to do in the community. We're going to share some of that with you, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, guess what? We get to have fun all the time at the Cardinal games. Before the game, we get to hang out with fun super fans. Say hello to my buddy Nino over here, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie. That's right. Everybody's in the video here. Family coming out to the game. Nino, what do you love about going to Cardinal games?
Do you love baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves baseball. Hey, all right. Scoring points with the Cardinal Cowboy.
Yeah, he plays Miracle League baseball.
Do you really?
And he likes to be on the Cardinals team at home.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how many times have you been on that team? How many times have you done that?
A lot.
That's a good answer. All right. Dad, what's it like coming to the Cardinal games with your son and your wife and all the fun you get to have down here?
Oh, it's the most fun. I mean, we've been coming since Old Bush. You know, now we've got New Bush Stadium. It's the best baseball town, and it's the most fun. You know, it's fun before the game. The games are always great, and we love it.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time here. We're at Patios, everybody. This is where the most fun is. I get to wear the full outfit here. I got the pants, the socks, the arch, Nino, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie all here, and we're outside Patios having fun. Hey, say hi to Patios. Stop on by here before a Cardinal game, and we'll see you guys soon. Nino, give me some knuckles. There we go. Go Cardinals. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle Show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there is no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com. Well, so that's where we get to do our fun stuff in the community. I'm talking to our guest here, Richard, about some of the guys he knows. We won't say their names out loud, and maybe we can. These are guys who've done great community stuff, some of in that boxing, fighting world, MMA, those guys. And they do a lot of good work with the Guns and Hoses, too.
Yes, they do. I had one of my guys that sadly just passed, he was involved with them a little bit, and he never missed a year with them. So he was involved with them for about 8 years.
I could say Jesse Finney. You might know Jesse Finney from Shamrock, and they do a lot of good work. And raising those guys saved my life years ago. Anytime any of those guys want to be on a show, they are welcome. Well, give me a quick cost analysis. What is it that you're often doing? You're helping people improve the value of their home, right?
Oh, yeah.
You put a new kitchen in, a new bath in. So mostly kitchens, or what would you say? Anything inside, interior? When you say remodel?
I'm going to try and sum it up as quick as a talkative guy like myself can do. So we just finished a house in St. Louis Hills. They just bought it 2 years ago. Still in the process, kind of moving in. They moved in there from out at Lake St. Louis, where they lived. They moved back down to the city, found a nice house. Unfortunately, it didn't have a bathroom on the main level, and the laundry room was in the basement, and the kitchen didn't look real good, you know. So $150,000 later, their laundry room is now on the second floor where the bedrooms are at. They've got a bathroom on their main floor that they never knew they had room for, and brand new kitchens and nice big deck, and their house has totally changed and probably raised the value of their house easily more than what we paid for it, what they paid for the remodel.
And that's what we're talking about, because a lot of people will try to improve the value of their homes, and you got to do the right things. Any of these kinds of constructions, you're going to generally improve the value of the house, so that because homes, that's values go up traditionally 3 to 5%, sometimes more, depending on the current situation.
Last 8-9 years, it's been pretty drastic raise in property values. And the cost of doing business, as we all know right now, and materials.
Right.
It's hard to keep up with.
But a good investment to improve the value of your house, and that's what you may often want to do. Tell me, why should somebody choose you guys? I mean, we covered quite a bit here, but what would you say are the best reasons that somebody should choose you? Is the Google AI got it right there?
Well, I'm trying to read here as fast as I can. I'm new at this, folks.
That's off the screen over there behind you. But
why should you choose us? You know, there's a lot of good companies out there working, and there's a lot of guys out there just like me. There's also a lot of guys out there that aren't good guys and don't do good work. I mean, the biggest thing I could tell your customers is make sure whoever you hire, you check on, and you go see some of their work, get referrals, talk to their past customers. You know, anytime a customer wants to hire us, I'll give them 20 customers. Go talk to any of them. Go look at their projects. They'll be happy to show you the projects. And we don't charge up front. You know, we write the contract out. Paying is, we do not bill up front. Any contractor walk into your house and tell you got to pay them before they've did anything in your house, open the door politely and tell them to leave.
Yeah, if they're asking for a big chunk of change up front, you don't think that's a good policy. Some of those guys do that. They got to have half down or a third down, and
poor way of doing business.
Not a policy you would
name another company that does that. You go to get your car fixed, you pay them up front.
That's right.
You get a new HVAC system put in your house, you pay them up front. You get a new roof, you pay them up. You don't pay anybody up front. I don't know where this stuff started, but it's if you meet a couple of people that have given their hard-earned $10,000 or something to a contractor to show up and start their project, and then they never see them again, and they're just out $10,000.
Yeah, we've heard that story a couple times. But guys like you have been around, obviously do your research. That's why you should choose somebody like Rich and his team here, because they do good work, and they've got a reputation for 28 years now with your own business, 50 years in the industry. Do you have any specific certifications or any particular accolades that you're proud of? I mean, being in business for 28 years is one of them, but you're also dealing with a lot of times you're having to get permits and go through the paperwork with people.
Permits and paperwork, you know, I mean, we work hand in hand with our electricians, our plumbers, and architects and stuff when we need them. And, you know, just having a good relationship with those guys. You know, Baker Electric does a lot of fine electric work for me, and McCarthy Plumbing. I've relied on those guys for years and years and years. You know, we use Russo Stone and Tile, you know, do all of our granite. You know, all these guys treat their customers like I want them to be treated. And so we have a very good working relationship together. And as far as my certifications, hard work and hard knocks.
That'll teach you a lot. That's why that's why we talk about experience. I started the show off saying 50 years of experience. That's tough to beat. And somebody who's got that much time in, you know, you're going to have somebody you can count on that's going to get the job done. What do you think some of the benefits are of working with a small business? You've said you've tried to stay a little bit smaller so you can keep doing the work, but also get the quality there and keep the relationships with your contractors. What's it like as a small business owner?
Small business owner, it's a lot of work. I don't think people appreciate the time and effort it takes to start something new, as you did yourself, and get it to where it's a viable income and job, and it's actually doing something. Why should people choose us over a big company? You're going to get more custom work from a small guy. If you go to these big guys, you're going to have to kind of check the box, check the box, check the box. Do you want this? Do you want that? And then they're going to say it's this much, it's this much. It's a factory type deal. You know, we roll with the punches in remodeling, because remodeling, you never know what you're going to find behind that next wall.
Yeah, I've heard about
It's always a surprise.
Yeah, and I like the fact you talk about when you're more adept to making those changes. When they need to talk to the boss, it's not calling the vice president who heard from the manager who's talked to the worker. It's you are the boss, and you're on site there very often to answer those.
The very first thing I do is have a one-on-one with the customer. Go, this is what we found. This is my recommendation to fix it. I can't leave it because it's going to put your life in danger. I can't leave it. Here's your 2 or 3 options. Which one would you like to do? You can call somebody else. You can take who I recommend, or we can do it. Whatever the case may be.
How often are you surprising somebody with something they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea I had this kind of problems going on at my residence"?
Well, as we and you were talking earlier, you know, the gas line for the gas lights in these old houses, you know, with the knob and tube electric right there by the ports and everything, you know, and they're probably not the safest things in the world we find. Some of these old houses, you know, that they've remodeled, and they just wadded up newspaper and shoved in half that 4-gang box and left it a 2-gang box, and it's been sitting right there by electric, and that newspaper is from the 60s. You know, it's just tinder.
Nice and dry, ready to burn, given time.
One spark.
These are not the ways that you want to run things. As we finish up this first half hour, I'm going to have Rich stick around for another half hour because we got lots more to talk about. Take lots of notes on this interview, everybody, because Richard's been telling us lots. But get out your pencil and rewatch this. You can watch it again if you missed it on ABC. Watch it on our YouTube channel. Go to yourlittlecastle.com, click the link. It says watch all past shows. They're all in order there, too. What's the biggest mistake the average homeowner makes when they're making a decision for these types of big remodeling jobs?
Buying a house that hasn't been properly checked out. It's just like a car. I mean, if you're going to buy it, you know, make sure it hasn't got a flat tire, you know, structural problems, water problems. You know, I do inspections for a lot of my customers, but when I do an inspection, I'll bring my plumber, my electrician, myself, and we'll really inspect it. We don't call any of these little home inspector places that, okay, it looks great.
We'll talk about that more in the second show coming up here in a few, everybody. Stay tuned. This is Your Little Castle Show. Check our next show. Giddy up.